across most of Europe, but not in Saudi Arabia, where it doesn't shut until the middle of September. Where do you want to start with this one? We've got Joao Cancelo, we've got Kylian Mbappe. There's loads of players like. Why don't we start with Mbappe? Because I'm not sure we've heard the last of this until this transfer window closes with Real Madrid and PSG and everything like that. What's your take on the Mbappe situation?
Okay, here's my bold prediction. I've been feeling for the last 3 or 4 weeks around Kylian Mbappe. I think he's true to. I don't think he leaves PSG this summer. I think yes, there'll be a whole lot of rumor and speculation between now and the end of August when the transfer window closes. I don't think he goes to Saudi Arabia, even though they have a slight extension on their own transfer window. I think he remains right where he is in Paris. I think come January, though, he'll play for PSG between now and January. I think come January, all of a sudden, you'll see Real Madrid up their interest. I think the rumor and speculation is that Kylian Mbappe has given PSG his word that he won't leave on a free. I think Real Madrid will come in with an offer come January. That'll be it won't go anywhere near to match the 200 million that they bid 18 months ago. Now I think it'll be a little bit more realistic, maybe in the region of 100 million. But let's say that Real Madrid are trailing Barcelona by 6 points in La Liga. Let's say Real Madrid limp in to the knockout stages of the Champions League, and they feel that adding Mbappe in January sees them get the better of Barcelona and makes them look a whole lot better, makes them viable contenders for the Champions League. I think that's worth spending 100 million on. So my bold kind of standalone prediction at this point is that we'll talk about Kylian Mbappe for a couple of weeks. He'll play as he always does. He'll score as he cannot stop doing in Liga. But then come January, that's when things will really get serious. And Kylian Mbappe will not be a PSG player on the 1st of February.
Okay. Joao Cancelo for Barcelona. Now, there's a lot of layers to this one, like Stevie Nichol's favourite chocolate cake. I did their game at the weekend, and they left it late before they got the victory over Cadiz. But they kind of played a hybrid three at the back, with Jules Koundé playing as a right centre-back / right back, with Lamine Yamal playing in front of him. So there is room for a right back. Obviously, Alex Balde can play both sides. But they haven't yet been able to register a couple of players and obviously creative accountancy. So Cancelo would make sense. Of course it does. He's a fantastic player for Barcelona. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Could it happen?
I'm going to say yes. And here's my thing in discussing Barcelona. I have to say, the last 2 or 3 seasons have left me totally bemused with Barcelona and their business. When you're registering players, even players like, let's use Gundogan as a fine example, right? Comes to Barcelona on a free, and he doesn't get registered until, 48 hours before the start of the season. And even then, to register, and I know wages are a part of it and all, I'm not discussing the machinations of it. I'm just talking about a club that, again, I grew up, or I have in my time discussing football, have been able to compete with the best, for the best. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about a club who need to move money from their savings account into their checking account so they can afford a free transfer. I mean, that's me going to the grocery on a weekend. That's not what Barcelona need. You expect Barcelona to be doing. And so I say all that to say, I think Joao Cancelo is absolutely perfect for Barcelona.
Yeah.
Plays either flank, can be more defensive as a wing back, can play in midfield as a winger, as can Balde at the other side. Absolutely perfect. You spoke about Barcelona's game against Cadiz on the weekend. You start Lamine Yamal, who's, what, 15, 16 years old?
16 years old.
16 years old. Romeo through the midfield. Joao Cancelo. And while Lamine Yamal is an absolutely incredible talent, he is 16 years old. And you have to manage that accordingly.
Sure.
So it can't be that he plays every single game. And then Romeo, is he the player you want in? Is he the player you would ordinarily think gets into a Barcelona starting 11? And the answer to that again is a firm no for me. So I think Cancelo comes in, gives them real option. I think it's as a transfer, it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like so much else we've discussed today already, somehow it has an asterisk. This club that I don't recognize in that regard have to again move things around to afford Joao Cancelo, a player who wants to leave Man City.
Yeah, move pieces around. I mean, Frenkie de Jong again started at centre back. Pedri, Gavi, Romeo, Yamal on one side. Ferran Torres didn't even get into the starting lineup, and Ansu Fati. Again, plenty to talk about Barcelona for another day. The final player I want to talk about in our transfer rumours segment today on ESPN FC Live is Balogun of Arsenal. Now, there's been a fair bit of talk in London about maybe Chelsea could be a destination for him, and Kunku's out injured, and it's just Nico Jackson. Broha's coming back from injury, but within the last couple of days, Monaco has been seen as a potential destination. The thing I want to ask you about Balogun, supposedly a real talent, but with no Gabriel Jesus, and we've seen Eddie Nketiah start there, you've also got Trossard. Why haven't we seen more of Balogun feature for Arsenal in the Premier League?
I'm not sure. I think maybe Balogun just thinks that he wants to come in and be an automatic starter. And kind of given his record in Liga last season, you sympathise with that. If I were a striker, and I think Balogun was what, third or fourth in Liga goal scoring, and that'd be any likes of Kylian Mbappe, and you understand, and there's this kind of interest from other clubs around Europe. You understand, like I want to start, and while yes, I think Eddie Nketiah had a couple of chances that he really should have done better with on the weekend, I'm not sure that Balogun just comes in and is guaranteed that starting spot. And then when Gabriel Jesus comes in, I'm not sure that Balogun keeps hold of that starting spot, even if he somehow wins it over from Eddie Nketiah.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.